but a fine win to take this first round.
It did. We move on to a Honda Cadet final, which after a turbulent superheat for pretty much everybody inside the top 6 or 7, has provided a very mixed up Honda Cadet grid.
Right then, let's have a look then, and we'll, David, if you chip in and tell me where the action was going into that superheat this morning. Remember, this was where the slippery flag came out, the slippery surface flag came out, and we had a kind of a Silverstone 1975. I'm probably the only one here old enough to remember that, where we had everybody slewing off onto the grass and into the barrier at the Ashby hairpin. That left Ronnie Smart to take up his pole position. Luke McGall, he inherited that lead for that superheat, didn't he? And Luke, that's put him alongside on the front row. Tom Nichols and Ashton Horspool will share row 2. Row 3 is Noah Clark and Jack Wykes. Ricky Junior McIntosh and Noah Clare are on the 4th row. Arthur Murphy and Edward Rye are on row 5. Jaden Patel-Scott, Dexter Petty share row 6. Row 7, Ronnie Jones and Mason Becker. Row 8 is Dino Rowlands and Freddie Budd. And then Finley Thursfield and Ella Dixon share the 9th and final row.
Ronnie Smart then goes off pole position with 8 points, which is probably about the most points we're going to see for a pole position final, given the fact that he was one of those 6 drivers that was off at Ashby, as all of our leaders, the top 5, plus a few more that joined them shortly afterwards. It was Luke McGall who came through the field got round Ashby without trouble. And that's rewarded him with a front row start for the 15 of Luke McGall. Tom Nichols, another driver who finished his 2 heats yesterday in 8th and 9th position, but finished the superheat this morning in 2nd place, and that promotes him onto the 2nd row alongside Ashton Horspool, who led part of the superheat but then fell behind Ronnie Smart the lap before they all went off. Let's not discount Noah Clark, who in both heats yesterday came through the field and was one of those drivers again who was up there when everybody went off this morning. So it's going to be a very interesting Honda Cadet super final here.
I'm not really a fan of seeing things form out because of a slippery surface that caught everybody out. I mean, did we ever find out what that was? I think it was water brought onto the track by a kart coming back onto the track, wasn't it? I think that's what it was. We saw this morning as well, the grass. It's been so wet here at Whilton for the last 2 weeks that, even with a couple of dry days, the track is staying, the grass is staying damp, particularly this morning as well. The overnight dew now, given the time of year we're in, means that anything that's not tarmac is quite slippy. And to be fair, half a practice this morning, the tarmac was slippy as well. That's right, yeah. I mean, like I was about to say, I'm not really keen on things being shuffled around because of that. We've got a cart off, haven't we?
Yeah, just as we said, the tarmac wasn't slippy and the grass was. Somebody has gone off onto it's a standing start, so they will be able to get round and take position. And we're not quite sure it was. It was a driver in the latter third of the field, as they were trying to warm up their tyres.
Right, we'll keep an eye on who that is. That's dropped to the back of the grid. It's a standing start, remember, so they may be able to still move through the grid and take their starting position. The mixed up grid, of course, we're in the entertainment business here, David, so it means a lot of good racing, a lot of place changes. Bit of a mixed grid, isn't it? A bit like mixed grid racing, I suppose.
From a media perspective, we love random grids.
Yeah, we do.
Just because it gives us that extra dynamic and also rewards your drivers. It was Dexter Petty in the 61 who was the driver who was off earlier on. Fist pump there from his dad, so it looks like it's all been forgotten.
Yeah, thankfully, enough time with a standing start. There's Andy. That is Andy at the back, isn't it? The marshal, I mean.
It's whatever we want to call him, Joe.
All right, okay. All right. He's about to give us the green flag because everything's looks in order. We've got the red lights that will go on when the red lights go off. We have got an engine revs rise for these Honda Cadets, and they are indeed. We're about to go off and go racing, and towards oblivion, the number 50 of Ronnie Smart cuts right across and kind of slams the door before the door was even there.
Yeah, we've seen a number of drivers in the background. That's Ella Dixon going off as well. I think Freddie Budd and Finley Thursfield could well also be off at the tail end of the field. We caught them slotting across the camera. Everybody, though, towards the front has made it round Christmas Corner. Ronnie Smart leads from Luke McGall, Ashton Horspool, and then that is Tom Nichols in 4th place. Ricky McIntosh up to P5 in front of Jack Wykes. That's your top 6.
Now remember, 12 minutes and 1 lap are finals here. Slightly longer than the super heats, much, much longer than the heats from yesterday. So a lot of time to just settle in, following the wheel tracks. Don't make your move too early, especially in Honda Cadets. Remind me of NASCAR racing this. If you make your move too early, you can be hung out to dry. You can go from 1st to 9th. As simple as that.
Well, talking about making moves early, at the start, the 15 of Luke McGall sort of stopped and had to go again, and that gave Ronnie Smart the opportunity to get across in front of him. He leads then from Luke McGall and Ashton Horspool, Tom Nichols and Ricky McIntosh, the top 5 with a little bit of a gap. Back to Noah Clare, Edward Rye, Noah Clark, who drops down on the opening lap, and Dexter Petty to round out your top 10.
And it's the familiar sight of the Honda Cadet train just chugging around this track here at Whilton Mill, line astern, following each other's wheel tracks. And if anything, McGall looks like he's looking down the inside of the leader Smart, isn't he? Tyres not quite on. They'll be coming on towards the middle of the 3rd lap, I would think, on these Honda Cadets. And as Ronnie Smart leads for the 2nd time into the Nouvelle chicane, these Cadet drivers just clipping the edge of that curb as they complete 2 laps.
Yeah, these Honda Cadet drivers, some of them will have not encountered that chicane before this weekend here at Whilton, because when the Kart Championship was last here, that chicane didn't exist. The run up to Christmas, the top 5 at the moment look to be on a fairly smart and compliant drive away from the rest of the field in the early part of this race, and they're giving themselves here a 60% chance of a podium rather than inviting the rest of the field in. 5 drivers at the front, gapping away from Jack Wykes in 6th place. And it's going to be a 5-kart battle for 3 steps on the podium here, by the look of things. I
actually think we might even have 6, because Jack Wykes is not that far away on the number 13. The kart at the back of the train, Ricky Junior McIntosh, you'll see him, the black overalls, the black helmet. It's got a bit of a yellow front nose section. He pulls alongside the 74th Tom Nichols. But it's experience at the front of this Honda Cadet field, experience that they know if they just follow one another round in this train, they're not going to stifle each other's progress. They're not going to stifle momentum, and they can maintain this train of 5 karts breaking away right until the checkered flag, or indeed the 2-minute warning pod, which is when they all change personality.
Yeah, Ricky McIntosh down the inside of Tom Nichols on the run up to Ashby, and McIntosh in the 44. Yesterday's poleman is back up into 4th place. He had a tough day yesterday, has the pace to run at the front, feels he's got the pace to run in front of Tom Nichols. This train of 5 pulling away from 6th place, Jack Wyke, and down the inside for the lead goes Luke McGall into the boot. And Luke McGall, the super heat winner, leads from Ronnie Smart, Ashton Horspool. Now it's Ricky McIntosh and Tom Nichols, your top 5. Nichols with a big look over the shoulder. Keep looking forwards, that's where the action is at.
Luke McGall, textbook move into the boot, but you know that Ronnie Smart is cool enough to have just let that happen. He knows there is plenty time. We've only had a third of this final here, so plenty of time to get back towards that front end. He's where he needs to be. 2nd place. He's fine to sit there. Ashton Horspool, I think, is just playing a waiting game, and you know that Ricky McIntosh is sat there on the rear bumper of Ashton Horspool, but if any kind of opportunity arises, then McIntosh will make the play. The red kart there in the background, Tom Nichols, and then just off the shot, as we've got a challenge for the lead already, coming back at him at the boot, and these clattered together there, David, didn't they? Almost tripping over one another.
Smart with a late move down the inside on Luke McGall, really took McGall by surprise. That has allowed Nichols back right onto the train, and Jack Wykes is coming back into things as well. There's a gap back then to Noah Clark, Dexter Petty, Edward Ryan, Noah Clare. Run up towards Christmas Corner. McGall then leads from Smart, Horspool, then McIntosh. This is his first year racing at a national level for Ricky McIntosh, and he's jumped straight towards the front of everything that he's been racing in at national level. Tom Nichols, another driver who's entering a few national events now in P5, turns 11 on Wednesday. the youngster from Leyland in Lancashire, in P5 as McIntosh goes down the inside of Horspool for P3.
And as they head towards the boot, we'll see if Ronnie Smart can have another look up the inside of McGall. It's not happening this time. Slotting down the tight line around the hairpin and through the chicane. So across the line, 6 laps completed. McGall, Smart breaking a little bit of a gap to McIntosh, who's gotten by Horspool. Horspool want to come back at him. Nichols in 5th. Wykes now joining on the back of that. He's not too far away from the back of Nichols, is he? And no challenges into Christmas, but that's all going to change by the time they get back round to the boot after the infield sections. We know they're going to concertina back up.
McGall set the fastest lap of the race on the previous lap, and in doing so has opened up a couple of kart lengths to Ronnie Smart. But in a moment, I get the feeling that McIntosh is going to tow up onto the back of Smart and then push Smart again onto the back of Luke McGall, who doesn't have a particularly good exit from Osiers. And that's going to allow Ronnie Smart, and that is Ricky McIntosh. As I mentioned, yesterday's poleman didn't have a great day, but was my tip for the win here this weekend, and I'm not changing that at the moment.
Yeah, he's playing a waiting game. He just adjusted something down by his right-hand side, but I'm not sure what is actually down there.
Absolutely nothing, Joe.
I was thinking not. Here they are then, first, second, third. Little bit of a gap to 4th place, Ashton Horspool. But you've got the feeling, David, like you said, that black cart there, the black overalls, the black helmet of Ricky McIntosh is coming back towards the rear bumper of Ronnie Smart. Ronnie with Project 1. He's got the red and white overalls with the green helmet. And then our leader, Luke McGall. Oh, and McIntosh gets it all wrong at Parker. It doesn't seem to pay him any kind of disadvantages. And I say that, there's Horspool coming right back at him.
Yeah, it's lost him a kart length, but could have been far, far worse. For the 44 of Ricky McIntosh, as down the inside goes Ronnie Smart. McGall goes wide. There's a change for the lead, and we're back to a 5-kart train at the front.
Brilliant stuff. I did not see how Ronnie Smart could have made that move. He left a gap, didn't he, McGall? McGall left a gap into the hairpin at the boot, and Ronnie Smart said, thank you very much. He has to defend now. Bit early for defending, boys. It's 4.5 minutes remaining. It's going to be 4.5 minutes of defensive driving by Ronnie Smart if he wants to hang on to this lead, and he is indeed. Defending on Luke McGall there, off towards Parker, and we'll see if there's going to be more defensive driving as they come out of the infield section towards the boot.
It's very, very early to be defending, and I wonder what the thoughts of the Clarks will be on that, because they're told, we know at this level you can defend lap 1, lap and everything else, but he's not defending into the boot as Luke McGall gets alongside. Smart's going to be there, and then there's contact between the two of them. 3 wide in the middle sector as McIntosh is up to second, and Tom Nichols is round. As he recovers from a half spin. Don't think he's particularly thrilled by what happened. I couldn't see if there was a cause to it, but that has allowed Jack Wykes through as well.
So as Ronnie Smart dives down the inside and just forces the issue, there's McIntosh in the black and yellow cart, just tripped him up nearly. But the red cart there, we're just about to see go sideways.
He got a good run on Horspool, didn't he? And that was the cause of it.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. And that was because everybody in front was tripping over one another. Everything settles down. Okay, we're relatively settled. Into Parker. Ronnie Smart leads. Ricky McIntosh second. I'm hoping that bumper wasn't affected by that hit on Luke McGall. I can't quite see it. And then more defensive driving by Ronnie Smart.
It didn't look like it was affected because he basically got under Smart and lifted Smart slightly for Ricky McIntosh. It wasn't very quick in terms of the incident. It was in the slower part of the track.
It wasn't a massive impact.
Yeah, so I don't think he's going to have pushed it in. But we've got 4 at the front. As now we've got Jack Wykes and Tom Nichols and Noah Clark battling out 5th down to 7th. So it looks like we're going to have 4 karts at the front battling it out. Smart coming under pressure from McIntosh with another slight little tap into the rear there as they break at different points at Christmas.
I'm not sure where I'd put my money if I had to put my money anywhere on this 4, because I don't even think you can discount Ashton Horspool, who's the lad on the blue and white cart, the 4th cart in that train. Oh, McIntosh having to defend from Luke McGall, but he didn't have enough space to defend properly, and McGall has gone through the gap, and now McIntosh is going to try to come back, but Horspool, that 4th cart in the train, he's looking for an opportunity. Meanwhile, Ronnie Smart with that green helmet leads the train round.
We saw McIntosh struggle at that corner, that left-hander at Wilkins a few times earlier on in this race, and it's there that Luke McGall finds a way through. And now McGall seems to have found a second wind in this race. He's right behind Ronnie Smart, who white lines it all the way up to Christmas. McGall goes wide. Can we get a switch back? No, we can't, because Smart's got it scouted and balks the exit of Luke McGall.
Yeah, he did. Defended well. He has to defend into Ashby's as well. They'll try to go side by side. That's going to disadvantage him, and Ricky McIntosh in the black cart and black overalls coming back onto his rear bumper into Chapman. First, second, third, fourth. Absolutely nose to tail, bumper to bumper. Out onto the back straight. Is there going to be a challenge? There is. McGall down the inside, but it's a faster line round the outside of the left-hander. They're all going to concertina up, and McGall forces the issue just like Smart did. Smart comes back at him. Oh, it's not going to work. There's not enough room at the Nouvelle chicane. And the number 14, that is Noah Clark, is back into it and into fourth after everybody fell over one another there.
McGall and Smart, no quarter given between the two of them as Smart keeps the foot in there. Ricky McIntosh takes advantage, goes all the way around the outside, slots into second. Noah Clark, a big benefactor as well. Bearing in mind, fifth, sixth and seventh were well over a second off the back of this train, and now only 1.4 splits first to seventh.
I think we might well be right on the cusp as Ricky McIntosh tries down the inside of Ronnie Smart. They're going to be side by side on the back straight, and McGall's coming with him. He's going to have the gap, and there Ronnie Smart again round the faster outside line. He's going to leave a gap open again at the boot, has he not? But Ricky McIntosh, you called it very early on. You said look out for Ricky McIntosh. Your prophecy has come right, but we've got 2 more laps of this.
2 to go. McIntosh with a huge helping hand there by Luke McGall as he got alongside Ronnie Smart, and McGall elected that he thought that if he could push McIntosh, he could get through as well. McIntosh leads from Ronnie Smart, Luke McGall, Noah Clark in 4th place. From Ashton, Horspool, Jack Whites and Tom Nichols. Your top 7 still split by next to nothing as Luke McGall tries a move down the inside of Ronnie Smart. They're still side by side on the run up to the left-hander at Wilkins.
I really am worried about Ricky McIntosh's bumper. It's looking down, our observer tells me. It's looking down. Is it flopping about? Meanwhile, in second place, Ricky McIntosh is checked out. He's first on the road. That's how we'll call it. We'll wait for Tech to sort that one out. It's going to be the 1 lap to go board for this field. And as they cross the line, McIntosh has pulled out the biggest gap we've seen all race. 7/10 of a second as they head through Crook Corner now and on towards Christmas.
He's not going to have to defend, whereas McGall is defending fresh air because he's got 2 or 3 kart lengths clear of Ronnie Smart, and that's allowed Smart and Noah Clark to close right back up. Jack Whites has found a way past Ashton Horspool to run in P5, still under pressure from Tom Nichols as they all dive to the inside. Ronnie Smart's going to try a switchback, but it puts him on the outside in the run up to Wilkins, but he's holding on to 3rd place. Noah Clark behind. McGall defends into the left-hander at Osiers.
Cracking action this, as ever, from the Honda Cadets as they head onto the back straight for the final time. The checkered flag is already being unfurled as they go in, and Ronnie Smart, we know he likes that faster outside line, but he's got to slot in for the hairpin part of the boot across the chicane for the final time. Then it's going to be Ricky McIntosh that takes the win. In second place, confirmed. Luke McGall hangs on to second. Ronnie Smart in third. Noah Clark fourth. Tom Nichols fifth. Ashton Horspool sixth. Jack White seventh. Dexter Petty was eighth. Ninth is Noah Clark. Ronnie Jones was 10th. And the rest of the finishers there crossing the line. But I tell you what, I need to lie down after that one. That was phenomenal. From the very start, we had some tactical and quite clever driving from all of those youngsters.
We certainly did. Ricky McIntosh, who started yesterday from pole position but started this final from 7th place, comes through the field. He was my call at the start of the weekend. I made a brave call in the middle of that race when he was down in 5th place that I thought he could do it. For anybody that thought I was talking nonsense at that point, I think my knowledge of Hondas has come to the fore as Ricky McIntosh takes a superb victory at the first of 3 Winter Series events here.
Well,